Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Sitting Courtside, episode 13, the spooky edition of
Yeah.
Sitting Courtside, because we are filming on Halloween, and also episode 13, unironically, the James Harden episode, number 13, so it's going to get real spooky this episode. Of course, like always, my name is Dante.
It's your boy Jerry D, baby.
And the NBA season is finally back. It's in full swing. This is a full week into the NBA season. So finally, me and Jerry are going to be able to talk about some NBA action, what's going on the court, and not so much what's going on off the court. Because every episode prior to this was just kind of like all off-season storylines, anything. This podcast started. Right. This podcast started during the off-season. So this is finally our chance to talk about what is going on during the season. We're very, very excited. We have some topics to talk about there. But I think the first thing we're going to get into here is the biggest news, what we've been waiting for the past few months. So that is James Harden finally gets shipped off to the LA Clippers. So there's a little bit of few teams are involved here. There are a bunch of players. So I'm going to point it all out. I'm going to say which team got what. The Clippers, of course, they get James Harden. They also got PJ Tucker. And, oh my God, I don't want to pronounce his name wrong. I apologize if I do. Philip Petrusev.
I think that's close enough.
Close enough? Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Never heard of him before. But he is getting sent to LA. Then the Philadelphia 76ers are getting back Marcus Morris, Nick Batum, Robert Covington, KJ Martin, an Oklahoma City Thunder protected 2026 first-round pick, Los Angeles Clippers protected 2028 first-round pick, 2 second-round picks, and then the Oklahoma City Thunder snuck their way into this, and they are getting back a 2027 first-round swap from the Clippers. Okay, Jerry, James Harden is finally a Clipper after all this time. After, requesting a trade to the Clippers, he actually ended up there, which is unlike what we saw with Damian Lillard requesting to go to Miami. What are your thoughts on this trade? Do you think the Sixers actually got a good return for him? And I guess, what do you think this means now for Harden and the Clippers?
Yeah, there's a lot to actually touch on right here, right? Like, there's technically 3 different storylines and one that just broke out whenever Harden was traded while we were all sleeping like babies and Woj was working the phone.
2 a.m. Woj bomb at 2 a.m.
Yeah, just talk about a bomb for real. But just thinking about the James Harden situation first, ending up in LA, I still don't necessarily it was a trade that needed to happen. I don't get James Harden being added to the like, wow, they're title contenders now. No, they already were before he got there. If anything, I think it's kind of weird to do this to the culture of like always trying to repeatedly trade for all these different moving pieces and stars or whatever it might be, because you're trading out guys that kind of set a culture in that locker room, I feel like. And even our Clippers reporter and Tomer tweeted this last night whenever it went down, just we keep shuffling guys, players that kind of help build up what the team is. And the Clippers obviously haven't been like a solid rooted foundation or organization for the last like 4 years, but because Kawhi and PG obviously have been hurt, but just looking at more guys leave the building, like Marcus Morris, like Nick Batum, like Robert Covington, even though all those guys probably didn't play every single night, they still aided to what the team was and how it was kind of shaping up to be. I don't know. I'm a little like on the fence about it. As for the Sixers, I think it's more addition by subtraction. You got rid of a distraction. It looked like Harden was still cool with his teammates on the bench, laughing and joking during like half times and stuff like that. Sure, there is no love lost between them, but you just get to go out there and get pieces that are actually going to contribute. Like Nick Batum, Robert Covington, Marcus Morris are perfect veteran pieces that are all 3-and-D capable players to put on a Philly team that already features an MVP and possibly a future All-NBA performer in Tyrese Maxey. Then that has the keys to the perimeter. So
and
this
Tobias
actually
Harris. Tobias Harris now. Come on now. He's going to be popping off again.
Sure. Like, I'm cool with whatever. Like, through Maxey's first 3 games, like I looked it up a little bit ago, like he's averaging 30. Like,
maybe he's doing pretty well.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't think James Harden is kind of like in this no man's land. And I hate to say it, but I could see him becoming like the next Carmelo Anthony or the next DeMarcus Cousins or Dwight Howard, guys that just ended up getting blackballed out the league. Because
Hmm.
if James Harden doesn't perform in LA, this is it. Like, you're going to be the fall guy. It's your fault that we didn't go that far. Because Russell Westbrook is already in the building. How's that going to impact them? Like, they have a lot more wins than losses in their overall record with one another, but there's a lot of moving pieces just it with the Clippers just strictly because of injury. So even though everybody's saying that the Sixers got fleeced during this trade, I actually think they kind of won it because they
Mm.
unloaded a distraction and somebody that they didn't necessarily need, I guess, at this point in time. And they got veteran pieces. So
Right.
I'm cool with
And
it.
I'll be honest with you, like looking at the trade return, I actually thought Philly got more than what I thought they would get, to be completely honest with you. Like, sure, they didn't get any like star players. They didn't get, obviously, Terrence Mann was the biggest name thrown around. They wanted Mann. They didn't get their guy, but you're right. Like, they got rid of the most talented guy. Like, they lost the most talented player in this scenario, but they lost also the biggest distraction, arguably, in the NBA. Like, they did get rid of the guy that was gonna hold them back, that was going to, bring eyes put on the team, but not in a good way, get
Yeah.
people talking with the team, but not in a good way. And you bring in these veterans, like you said, and they got 4 picks. They got 2 seconds and 2 firsts. Like, for the where Harden is in his career right now, I know he led the league in assists last season, but like, I didn't think get 4 picks in return for him. So I think
Yeah.
the Sixers did as well as they possibly could. And honestly, I didn't really think of it, but I agree with you with the whole, like, if this doesn't work out, Harden's the fall guy, and next thing you
Yeah.
know, he could be blackballed by the league. I don't know how much better this makes the Clippers. Like, I don't think it makes them worse. I don't think it makes them worse, but it's like they were contenders before. They were talented enough before with the roster that they had. I mean, you could have argued that they had the deepest roster in the NBA before they traded for Harden. I just don't know how that fit's going to be. I've obviously, we've seen Westbrook and Harden play together, but how is Harden going to play next to Kawhi and Paul George, and how are those four just going to click? Because I mean, that's a lot of, you know, I don't want to throw the word ego around, but a lot of these guys, demand the ball and need the ball in their hands and stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting how these
Yeah.
four mesh. It really is.
And the thing is, James Harden isn't like your particular like spot up shooter. I'm a catch and shoot guy.
Exactly.
I've never seen him utilized like
He
that.
sets himself up. No one else sets him up. He sets himself up.
Like there's this is a situation now. Just looking at it, like with you saying that, I think it's all predicated on Kawhi's health. Because if he's healthy, like we already had the Clippers, Western Conference Finals, NBA
Right.
Finals potentially without James Harden. So now it comes down to if Kawhi's in the building, if he plays 60 plus games and then go into the postseason in one piece, maybe we have confidence in them, like depending on how it looks, depending on how it gels. But Russell Westbrook is the person I think is going to be impacted by this the most because he
Mm.
literally just found his role and found his niche
Right.
after a tumultuous season with the Lakers, right?
Right.
Like where we want to
Finally fit
erase that
in.
stint. Yeah, like we don't even want to
Yeah.
think about what happened with the other team in LA for the Lakers. Like, no,
The
we want to
team that
see
should not be mentioned.
exactly for Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
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 So like I'm really
Yeah.
concerned for Russ more than anybody. Like I think fit wise, because what if James Harden excels or he's better than what
Right.
that particular role?
Because right now, the starting lineup I would assume would be Westbrook, Harden, PG, Kawhi, Zubac. I would
Yeah,
imagine that would be the lineup. Let's
yeah,
say, you're like you said, Westbrook kind of gets the shit end of the stick. It doesn't really work out. Him and Harden don't mesh well, and Harden is doing well. Westbrook probably gets put to the bench. And I don't know if that's something that he would not have a problem with. Like, I definitely think, that's not a role he wants, but he seems to be a guy, like, at this point with this team and, where he fits in, like, that might be a role that he'd be willing to accept or would have to accept. But
yeah.
we definitely could see like that. Those four might not start the whole year. Like, it's a very real possibility that it just, like, they can make it work with different roles, but I don't know if that role is them, all four of them starting.
The guy who gets pushed to the bench, we know it's going to be Russell Westbrook.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, Paul Harden isn't going to the bench. Paul
No,
George isn't going to the bench, and Kawhi sure as hell isn't going to the bench. So the odd man out is Westbrook. Even though you said earlier, which I do agree, if shit hits the fan, nothing works out. Like, it is on Harden. But
yeah,
like, if someone's taking the fall as far as playing wise goes, like minutes, all that, it is Westbrook.
Before we even move on, I think the perfect analogy for this, it's like you buy a set of Legos, right? Like a new Star Wars Death Star or something. You
Oh,
put it
hell yeah.
together. You
Hmm.
buy it fully put together though. You buy it like the whole put together. You
Yeah. Hmm.
disassemble it and you return it back to Target. Because I don't know if the Clippers are actually gonna stay healthy. We bought
Yeah.
this new product, this shiny Death Star, brand new,
Hmm.
like Darth Vader chilling on it and everything, and
Yeah.
we're gonna give it back. Just
It's
here's the little lightsaber piece, and that's it.
just when you think that the Clippers couldn't have gotten more injury prone, they bring on James Harden, who has his fair share of injuries. And it will, hey, maybe their downfall will ultimately be injuries. Maybe we won't even, I mean, I'm knocking on wood. I hope not. We
Yeah,
might
oh
not
no,
be
of
able to
course.
see this team reach its full potential. We have no fucking clue. But the most important thing is that it's finally over. Both teams can move on now and can, it's early on enough in the season where, they can out now. The teams know what they have this season. Also, Danny Green got released by the 76ers, so he's a free agent now. So, another veteran player. We'll see where he ends up. But yeah, now both teams kind of have an idea. They have a direction, and we'll see what happens. We will what happens.
Yeah.
And also, I put in the notes here just something to point out. This is James Harden's fourth team since 2021. And for those keeping count at home, that is only 2 years. So, in a 2 year span, James Harden has been on the Rockets, the Nets, the Sixers, and the Clippers. Yeah, he's made a few stops.
Yeah,
So,
it's
we'll see how long
again,
this one lasts.
we kind of touched on it, like a couple weeks back, like with the Matt Barnes quote, right? You keep wiggling around, you see where you end
Mhm.
up, you might wiggle your way out the league. So
Yeah. And
just
And also, another thing to point out is James Harden cannot sign an extension with the Clippers as well. So he will be a
yep.
free agent after this year. So we'll see what well,
Five and
it's
three.
gonna
Could
be.
be five
Oh
and
my god, it
three.
is gonna be. He's insane. He is one hell of a character, that James Harden. Okay, so let's talk about some basketball that happened over the last week since the season started. One of the biggest storylines going into the season was Damian Lillard. A question at first was, where is he going to get traded to? We found out that it was Milwaukee. So him and Giannis had their first few games together this season. The Bucks are 2-1. So far, Jerry, from the three games that we have seen from both Giannis and Damian Lillard, and just the Milwaukee Bucks in general, do you feel like this team, has deserved to get the hype that they have? Do you think that this team still, is living up to the expectation that they can be a championship contender, that they can win the championship this year? Is that what you're seeing from this team so far?
Oh hell yeah. Like, 3 to 4 games into the season for most, like this is what I expected at a two caliber of players. Two NBA 75 guys, two of the best guys at their position, probably the best if you want to have an argument about the point guard position. Like it's pretty much like a made in heaven. For
Hmm.
I think every point guard should want to have like a dominant big to play with rather than a dominant wing. Like it's
Yep.
just a perfect complementary piece, especially inside and out. There's no answer for what what we do on offense on that side of the ball. Like, do I have to dump it down low? Do I have to let Giannis run the show, or is Dame just going to kind of pull up from half court or just create a shot for himself or others? Like, it's the
Right.
toughest thing to stop. Like, that's why we love Shaq and Kobe, right? That's why we loved any little man big man combo. It's really sexy to watch, like on the court, on paper, all of that. So like Dame having a couple 30 piece already, Giannis having a couple himself. It's it's an game. Like it's not
Right.
like you have to incorporate another perimeter star. Like what the Clippers are about to have to go through. They have 3 perimeter guys or 4 perimeter guys, and Harden, Kawhi, PG, and Russ.
Hmm.
That they all have to figure out how what works and where you're supposed to be on this point in time. No, you know that Dame's going to be up top in the half court, and Giannis is going to be somewhere in the dunker spot or in the elbows. It's an easy offense to run, especially for a first year head coach. Like imagine
Right.
imagine Adrian Griffin walking into a situation where not only does he have arguably the most dominant and best player in the game today, but you get the best point guard. Like Yeah,
Right.
like to answer your question, 100%. This is what I expected. I knew they were going to come out the gates hot. Sure, maybe in the middle of the season they hit a little slump, lose 2 to 3 games in a row or something like that, but they'll bounce back. Both of those guys have been to at least the conference finals in their respective conferences at the time. Obviously, Giannis is a champion along with the rest of that organization. So I feel really good about where we're at with the Bucks, and that's still to this day. I'm going to stand 10 toes down on it. My pick to go to the finals, and I feel pretty good about that right now.
So everything that you're saying, I'm not saying I disagree with it. I do think that these two are a fantastic duo. They were meant to be together, right? One of the best guards, one of the best forwards slash big men in the
Freak
NBA.
time, freak time, baby.
They free time, right? As everyone's calling them nowadays. They are gonna do amazing things together. I think that they are definitely living up to the hype. I do believe that they will be a team that will be competing in the Eastern Conference Finals, potentially in the NBA Finals by the end of the season to see if they can win a championship. But there is one issue I have. So it's like I'm pointing my finger at one person here, and that's Mr. Jay Williams. Okay, because I hate when people do something like this. So after one game, first game that Giannis and Damian Lillard played together, where Damian Lillard had 39, Giannis had like 23 and 12. They beat Philly by like a point or two. Jay Williams says that Giannis and Damian Lillard are already a better duo than Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. He goes, in one game, Giannis and Dame are more compatible and have less redundancy than the 7-year career of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Now, let me get this out there. If there is definitely a chance where by at some point in time we're going to say Lillard and Giannis is one of the best duos we've ever seen, is better than duo A, duo B. I can behind that. That's true. You can't be saying those things after one game. I mean, you can't even be saying those things after 3 games. It's just like they look fantastic. They look this, but at the end of the day, it's we haven't seen like anything yet, really. And I think it's just kind of like, it can be crazy to me how people can kind of overreact after just like one game. Cause then the next game, Lillard had 6 points, and then the Bucks got blown out. And then he had like the lowest plus minus on the team, like minus 29 or
Yep.
something. That's going to happen. So it's just like, you can't really say something or make a statement like that so early on when there's still so much left to see. And again, by the end of this year, I can fully be convinced, and I think that it is a possibility that a lot of people will be convinced that Lillard and Giannis are the best duo in the NBA, that
Yeah.
they have done more and have proven that they have better chemistry than all these duos that have been together over the last few years. That's fine. Let's just not get ahead of ourselves. Let's
Yeah.
actually see what happens, because it's an 8-game season. And this is even the fact that it's about Jalen and Jason. He could have said that about Jokic and Murray, LeBron and
Yeah.
AD, anything like that, and I would feel the same way, because it's just like, they're good, they're really good, but let's not those things out early on. Let's
Yeah.
not put as much like, not that it puts pressure on their shoulders, but let's not hype them up even more. Let's see how it plays out in front of our own very eyes, and we can start making statements like that.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all.
I'm not at that at all. I'm not mad at you at all for saying that.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you. Even when we went over before the season started about the top 10 duos in today's NBA, and like that, I think they had them like number 3 or something like that.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And that's because they didn't play a game together. No, I wasn't even really ready to even rank them yet. Like, I know. Obviously, we had discussion already at the top of the segment. 2 of the biggest names in the league, yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
The namesake. After we watch 30 to 40 games or whatever, we see what they do. We see where they're at record wise, where they're at seating wise out east. Cool. They're the best of one. Them. I'm with you. Like 100%. Like tip for tech. We're lock and key, man. We're toe tapping right now. Like I'm with you. I understand. Like this is what happens though. Whenever you add, a great asset like Damian Lillard, it's like I don't know why my mind's going here right now, but whenever Moss ended up ending up in New England, and you're pairing him
Yep.
with TB12, right? The greatest QB to ever do it. And Moss is arguably the greatest receiver to ever do it. So
Yep.
you get these guys, oh wow, this is the best duo like in football. And like I get it. Like, but we did a couple years back, Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, Kurt Warner, and guys of that magnitude, the greatest show on turf. And like we're coming over to the hardwood though. Like, yeah, there's still plenty of great duos out there, like LeBron and AD, Jokic and Murray, like you mentioned, Tatum and Brown. there's plenty more to even choose from that I'm not naming.
Right.
So I can't even say I disagree with that statement. I think Jay Will, he has been off TV for a little while.
I was gonna say I saw that statement. I was like, where'd he say that? He hasn't
yeah,
been on a show in a while.
yeah, I think it's been a few months since we've seen Jay Will. I don't know what happened to him, but maybe he decided to come back. Had to bring some heat to the table.
Yeah, has to bring to the table for sure. Hey, I respect it. I mean, maybe he's just getting ahead of the curve. I get it. But that's just my thing. It's like it's very small size. Let's give it a little bit, then we can start giving them their flowers. But speaking of small sample size, Celtics, the other team in the Eastern Conference that people are saying could win the championship, tied with the Bucks for favorites to win the championship this year. 3-0 to start the season. The only team left in the Eastern Conference, I believe, to still be 3-0. I think, did the Lakers beat the Magic last night?
They took down the Magic last night, baby.
There you go. There you go. So, yeah, the Celtics are the lone team in the Eastern Conference at 3-0. And you want to talk about best duos in the NBA, let's talk about Jason Tatum and his new running mate, Kristaps Porzingis. Now, I love listen, Jerry. I love Jaylen Brown. He had 36 last night, 36 and 3/4. He had like 8 threes, I think. He was unguardable for the first 3/4. I think he had 7 threes in the first half, lighting it up. But let me tell you something about the Celtics, Jerry. All right, Kristaps Porzingis, I think was the missing piece for that team. Now, people were so upset when Marcus Smart got during the offseason. And I get it. Like, I mean, I watched that guy get drafted, 6th overall, Oklahoma State. I know that. First jersey I ever bought, heart and soul of the team. I get it. It was hard watching him go. But you bring in someone like Kristaps Porzingis, and I knew when we traded for him, I was like, if this guy stays healthy, this is what fans are getting. This is what we have been waiting for. And he has looked good the first 3 games. I think Kristaps Porzingis fits into that scoring system perfectly. And Jason and Jaylen, they are a fantastic duo. But Jason and Kristaps game, man, it is like bread and butter. Oh my goodness. It is perfect. It is perfect together. Kristaps Porzingis spreads the floor as well as any big man in the NBA. He's 7 foot whatever, protects the rim like a madman, can catch lobs. Jason Tatum is looking like an MVP candidate early on. I think they found the missing piece. Again, it's a small sample size, so it's like I'm going off like I was with the Bucks. We got to give it time to see, but so far so good. I have been very impressed with what I've seen from my Boston Celtics, and I would love to hear your thoughts, Jerry, and what you think of the Celtics so far to start the season.
I got to put you on start because you just went off on Jay Williams.
It's okay. Yeah, no, I know. And I said small sample size, but we got to see. We got to see.
You jazzed the business after a 3-month hiatus from not being on TV.
Hey, listen, I ain't tweeting that Kristaps and Tatum are the best duo in the NBA. I'm just saying. They look like it.
I get it. I understand. It's new. It's shiny. It's like when you first get your new bike, right? It's nice. It's a mongoose. You got the on the back. You're rolling through the streets of Boston. Yeah, like you're having a great time. But guess what, man? Your homeboy just bought a new scooter. Like how long are you gonna be on this train? Like, mainly when I say that, I'm only really asking because we talked about durability with the Clippers. Kristaps Porzingis has a durability problem as well. And that's
he has a history. He had history. Tell you, I didn't even get to talk about the attachments to my new bike because man, Drew Holiday, him and Derek White. Listen, him and Derek White, the backcourt, defensively, they have been putting players in hell. They put Jordan Poole in. They actually put Jordan Poole in hell last night. He didn't know what he was doing. But yeah, no, listen, I get that. Kristaps has his injury history. Doesn't have the best luck when it comes to injuries, but if he stays healthy just for the postseason, he misses like 20-30 games regular season, I can swallow that pill as long as he's back and healthy for the postseason. That's what it matters. That's what I care about. But if he does stay healthy, I'm just saying, I think the whole people are saying Milwaukee versus Boston matchup that we've been hyping up, I think has a very good chance of happening.
Oh yeah, like no matter what I say, I just had to get on you a little bit there, but
No, no,
like
no, I get
still,
it. I
Boston
get it.
looks as good as like another team that's just as advertised. Like adding, really, you guys have a big four. Like the way I look at it, Drew Holiday is an all-star caliber player. Chris
Yep.
Stapps is an all-star caliber player, and obviously the Jays are as well. So like you guys have four guys in your starter lineup that are like set. Like
Yep.
I don't think when I look at the rest of the lineups in the NBA, including the Denver Nuggets, there might not be a better roster out there than what you guys have as a starting lineup. Then if you decide to bring Derek White in off the bench, or you decide to start him or whatever, it doesn't really matter. Like what the Celtics do. In my mind, they could really do no wrong with how Joe Mazzulla decides to shuffle these pieces. This is literally
Yep.
like me and you doing all the heavy lifting, and then Joe Mazzulla could just put his name on a sheet of paper. Like I'm not trying to discredit him as a coach, but your job is just like Adrian Griffin. Your job is super easy when you
Yep.
have these magnitude of stars on your team. So both of these Eastern
Right.
Conference teams that we're talking about right now, yeah, rightfully so, they should be tied for the same odds. Yeah, they should definitely look as good as advertised so far, 3 to 4 games early in the season. Despite whoever they played, despite the matchups maybe not being as great or favoring them as well, like it doesn't matter. Like they're putting up numbers. They're fun to watch. And right now, through these 3 or 4 games, I'm thinking in my head, damn, I can't wait till June, or I can't
Yeah.
wait till May, like
Yeah.
whenever we
Right.
actually get to see them play it for something that matters. I don't know when their first regular season matchup is, but I'm excited to see that as well. Like that could be a bloodbath of a 4 game season series between these guys, and maybe a preview to what we see in the
Oh,
postseason.
a little postseason preview. Yeah, exactly. Hey, I mean, it's early on in the season. We still have a lot of basketball to watch unfold. But I think the one thing we can agree on when it comes to the Boston Celtics, though, is that their bench needs a little help. I don't
Yep.
know if you saw the stat. I think their starting lineup averages 101 points per game, which leads the NBA, which is a crazy number, but also like that kind of if you look at 101 points out of the
Scary.
100 and something that they average, that's not, it's a good number, but also kind of scary because
Yeah.
we don't have a lot of support. So that's definitely something that they need to address. Hopefully they do that at some point. But
But it's like a top heavy problem, right? The Clippers are about to run
right.
into the same
Hmm.
type of problem that you guys have. After giving up all that depth, with now having a big four of their own in LA, like they're gonna run into the point where dang, we need our four guys to give us 15 plus. And Kawhi and PG are gonna carry the load. And then James
Yep.
Harden's probably gonna be another 20-point scorer. So they're gonna have the
Yeah.
same exact problem giving up all the depth. You
I
guys
mean,
gave up depth too, so
if they can sustain it, I mean, I guess you can do it, but it wouldn't be a bad thing having a little extra support coming off the bench. But we'll see. We'll see who's out there and figure out. Another team that isn't doing as well as the two teams that we have mentioned, another Eastern Conference team, the Chicago Bulls. 2-2, so it's not like they are like 0-4 or anything like that. But they that team might not make a full season. Seems like there has been some backstage issues. They had a team only meeting, players only meeting at game one. They were fighting at halftime game one. I think the head coach literally just let them be on their own and figure it out themselves. Do you think the Bulls blow it up? I feel like this is something that's kind of been like talked about for the last year or two, just because like that just really hasn't worked and that they have
yeah,
so much stuff going on with Lonzo and all that. Do
yeah.
you think the Bulls blow it up this season? Do you think they finally do it?
Yeah, I just think it has to happen. Like
Mm,
unless they're really just okay with like in the middle of the pack or being average for another year, it doesn't make any sense. Like DeMar, I believe this is his third year. The
mm-hmm.
first season they made the postseason. The next they failed to make it to the playoffs after losing in the play-in. And
Yep.
like we're talking about two guys in Levine and DeMar, and hell, even Vucevic, three guys that are also all-star caliber players that really just haven't figured it out. And yeah,
Right.
like Lonzo's been the missing piece for this team all this time. Obviously, we wish him well. We hope for him to get court as soon as possible. But given the pieces that are laid out in front of you on the chessboard right now, you don't have them. They do not
Right.
fit well. It does not make
Mm-hmm.
sense at this point. only for you guys to be. When we look at that roster on paper, this should probably be a 4 to 5 seed, guaranteed. Like
Yeah,
instead, I'm thinking
definitely.
about, damn, are you guys going to be a top 6 team? Or are you going to be in the play-in again
Right.
with that caliber of talent? So it goes to show me it doesn't work. You're not better than obviously the two teams we just mentioned in Boston and Milwaukee, but you're not even better than Philadelphia or Cleveland or New York.
Or New York. Yeah.
Like
You're just kind of
so
stuck. You're right in the middle there.
exactly. And if you are stuck, a good GM should have known that and hit the rebuild button. Like
Right.
you have to sell high on like these guys right now because DeMar is about 34 years old.
He's
I,
aging.
I don't know how many good years I have out of him yet, so why not try
And
to send him to a contender?
and Levine, who knows how many good years he has left in him with those knees and stuff like that too. So, his value might be the
Yeah,
highest it is right now. Same
yeah,
thing with Vucevic. I mean, it's like on paper, like you said, like all three of those guys, all-star
looks
caliber
good.
players, former all-stars, looks great. I mean, that could be a big three. They just obviously it just isn't. It doesn't mesh when it gets to a point where, like you said, you float, and if you're content with floating, sure, if that's what your end goal is, that's fine. But if you're staying in the same spot, you got to do something. Either you add or you subtract. And I don't know if they could really add anymore to this. So it might just time to hit that big red button and reset.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Blow it up.
Like take a page out of Sam Presti's book or Danny Ainge before he was the
I was just thinking Sam Presti and the Thunder. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like both Ainge and Sam Presti, obviously more Danny for the Celtics days that landed you guys Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
Right.
But Sam Presti obviously amassed picks after losing out on each of his future MVPs one by one.
Like if you like Vucevic, DeRozan, and Levine in the right team, the right situation, they could get like two, three
Impact
first
players.
round picks back, or you could get like a good return from those guys,
Yeah.
like good draft capital. I really do believe that. I do
Yeah.
believe there's a team out there that could use a veteran like DeRozan, a veteran scorer. I think there's a team out there that could use a third, maybe second scoring option, Levine, and I'm sure there's someone who needs an all-around quality center like Vucevic.
Yeah.
He
Like
just gotta you just gotta open up your book, open up that pick that phone up and see what's out there.
even to some degree, looking at like all those names are great, but also I think we got to point fingers at the coach here and Billy Donovan for
Oh
not
yeah, I mean
making
if
it work.
yeah, I mean I
You know,
don't think he's the best coach of all time either, but
there's a lot better coaches that might be able to that could have made this work, that could
mm,
gel this together possibly. But
sure,
I don't think Billy D was the guy, and I don't even think he
mm,
was the guy back in OKC whenever Russ and KD were still there. So
yeah,
like
yeah,
looking at the roster and how it's constructed, they're not terrible. They have talent. It's just the pieces aren't meshing well. Like Russ and Darvin Ham's system last year. I keep going back to this because fit is important for like a
right,
team and for your player and to understand how to utilize them. Bringing these guys together, like I'm not even going to say that they can't play together. It's just I'm kind of blaming coaching for not allowing them to play together, maybe as freely or as
sure.
like good as they should play. Calling a players only meeting after game one,
That's
like
that's tough. That's brutal.
that, and they even like I watched the press conference on Billy D said they said, Coach, can we have a minute? And I was like, okay, sure. Like your players didn't want you in there. Like I understand having a players only meeting. Like yeah, that's cool. It's just us right now. We need to hash this out amongst ourselves. Yeah, like in game 62. Like like
Yeah,
this is game one, and you're
yeah,
kicking the coach out the room already. That tells me everything I need to know about how that locker room may feel about Billy D. Obviously, I'm speculating. I'm assuming
yeah.
they could go turn around and say we love Billy, and he's a great coach for our system. But heck,
Mhm.
on the court, it doesn't appear that way. I know they're 2-2 right now. It's not like we need to push the panic button right now. But let's say come trade deadline, they're 5 to 10 games below 500,
Yeah.
still with that same exact roster. And if I don't see them hit the reset button, I'm just going to think they are content. You know, those C words that we hate. Content,
Mhm.
comfortable, whatever. Like they like being in the middle of the pack. They don't want to be better than anybody. They don't actually want to like be super bad and tank for a top pick. No. They just want to be somewhere in the pack because that's the team that MJ used to play for. And they have to be a playoff team.
Mhm.
So I it's just
Yeah,
kind of it's annoying to watch.
and not even like have other pieces that they can trade too. And I'll tell you what, a guy that I think that they could get really good value off of Alex Caruso, because I just looked. He only makes $9 million a year, which obviously in the NBA nowadays is dirt cheap. And he made an
Yep.
All NBA defensive team last year. He made an All defensive team last year. They had Patrick Williams, a young guy. They could really strip this team apart and really get good return if they wanted to. Back to the coach thing before we move on to the next thing. I do think it's a little too late to start like the whole firing a head coach, getting a new guy in again. I think at this point,
Yeah.
like I agree, like there could be a better coach out there for that, but at this point, I think we're too far beyond that point where now it's either you keep your team or you start trading guys. That's it, in my opinion.
Maybe the blow up just needs to happen at the end of the season then, because I really do like when I say strip the roster, I mean like everything
Yeah,
from the
no,
coaching
I
staff
agree.
to the
Literally do a
players.
thunder. Literally do a thunder. Like get rid of name players, get picks, get young guys built through the draft, and that's you go from there. You go from there. And then last topic before we move on to games, I kind of wanted to ask what you are most least surprised about so far this season. So like what has stood out to
Ooh,
you the most? What has like underwhelmed you a little bit? I'm I'll start. I say I'm most surprised, honestly, and I know they're missing their star player right now. The only team that's 0-4 in the NBA right now is the Memphis Grizzlies. Thought they'd have a better start, even though they don't have John Morant. I just thought, they'd still have enough on their roster, bringing in Marcus Smart. You got Desmond Bay and Jaren Jackson, who I think he had like 30 points last game. He had a pretty good game. I mean, all the depth that they have, that they would have a better start to the season, but obviously not there yet. Also, least surprised. The start that Steph Curry is having to the season. I want to talk about that as well because that boy. I said a little bit earlier about how Jason Tatum is having an MVP campaign. I think Steph Curry is going to be putting his name into that hat this season too. I think he's really going to have a standout year. I think he's going to put up numbers, and with everything going on with Chris Paul, he got moved to the bench and stuff. It seems like they're figuring out how to add Chris Paul to the equation, and so far they're 3-1. So far, so good. I think Steph Curry is going, as long as he stays healthy, of course, he's going to stay on this trajectory, and I think he's going to have a special season.
yeah, like we talked about Steph prior to about him having like an MVP caliber season. One of my dark horses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a super dope thing to be least surprised about. I mean, it's Steph. It's
Yeah,
Stephanus.
it's Steph. It's Steph. I mean, come on, it's Steph.
For me, I'm gonna start out with my least surprise that the Miami Heat are 1-3 to kick it off like the season. They literally
Mm.
lost their starting backcourt in
Yeah.
Gabe Vincent and Max Strus
Mm-hmm.
and didn't replace them with anybody.
No one. No
Like
one.
you,
Nope.
I don't know why. Like
What
I
do you
see,
expect? What do you
yeah, like
expect?
you had a terrible offseason because you put
Yeah,
all
they
they
really
put all the
did.
chips in to get you whiffed, you failed, and
And
then
then
after
you
that
try
I
to get
feel
guys like Drew Holiday. Then he
yep.
was gone. Then all the other guys came up and swing
It
and you
was
miss.
it was like just piling shit on top of shit. And plus, I saw this report that they wanted to get Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal, that was
Yep.
his number one option to Miami.
Yep.
But Mickey Harrison wasn't too high on getting Bradley because blah blah
Yep.
blah. Whatever BS excuse
Mm-hmm.
that was given to not to make a
The
move.
Miami Heat are becoming the new New York Knicks, is like in the sense of
Right.
like all I go online and I see these graphics already made of these players in Heat jerseys. This is like I remember when there was one offseason, I think it was 2019. The Knicks were going to get Kyrie, Katie, and they were going to draft Zion with the first overall pick. And it's like we're seeing that graphic in February.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, the draft is in June, and we don't even know if the Knicks are getting the first pick. Like, let's cool down here. Yeah, because then you hear like Bradley Beal they wanted, Donovan Mitchell wanted to go to Miami, Damian Lillard, Drew Holiday, even James Harden they said could have his name thrown in the mix
They
to go to
got no one.
Miami. Nothing. They got no one. No one. Nope.
You know what they got? They got the return of
They did. They did, and
man.
he's had a good start to the year, but.
Yeah. They
But
failed.
you could have had,
They failed to bring in a super big name. Like
mm-hmm.
they're linked to everybody every single year, just like the LA teams, just like the
Mm-hmm.
teams in New York,
Mm-hmm.
and they got nobody.
Mm-hmm.
At least the Lakers got hella depth. Hell, the Clippers just James
You're
Harden.
right. Mm-hmm.
The Nets got Ben
Ben
Simmons.
Simmons back. Yeah. I
Got
mean, he's been
Dorian
good. He's been
Finney-Smith.
so far.
I
Yeah.
don't know, like
Cam Thomas. I got Cam Thomas too.
Cam
We didn't
Thomas. Yeah,
talk about
man.
him.
Like
Shout out Cam Thomas.
I know the Knicks didn't really net anybody necessarily, but there was just less pressure because you guys went to the finals. You
Mm.
recognize that we have deficiencies on offense. We are not good at perimeter shooting without Max Strus or Gabe Vincent on the floor. Oh, let's let them walk. Put all the chips in for Dame. Put all the chips in for Beal, Donovan Mitchell, whoever, and you got nothing. And now you're 1-4 or 1-3 or whatever it is. Like I'm
Yeah.
not surprised about that. Like you
Yeah.
didn't improve.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why people would be shocked by this either.
As for most surprised at point, like it's kind of tough, like just looking at the different storylines and stuff that's going on. I think I'm gonna have to go with something that shouldn't surprise anybody. It's probably least surprising, but it's kind of surprising to me to see the Denver Nuggets are just undefeated right now. Because
Mm.
sometimes teams roll into the season with some championship hangover. You know, it's like, yeah, we
Yep.
just won the shit. It took 6 months to get on the top of this mountain. We're standing on it. And then Jokic goes to Serbia, doesn't pick up a
Doesn't
basketball
pick
for
up a basketball for a few
like
months.
months, whatever it is, like maybe once or twice over the summer, and then just rolls in ready for work, puts the lunch pail back on,
You
puts the hard hat back on, and
you fucking love to see that. I I think that's so funny.
yeah, like it's hilarious. That's why it's kind of surprising. It's not surprising, but it's kind of surprising just because I'm like, are they gonna have a little hiccup? Are they gonna be
Right.
like not saying like they're gonna be winless, but maybe they're 2-2, or maybe they're 1-3.
Right.
And
Yeah,
oh
they
wow,
have they're not gonna start off super hot, but good
yeah.
enough where it's like, oh, they're still the Nuggets. Then
Hey,
I get it.
they lost Bruce Brown. They like
That was a bigger was.
So I didn't know to obviously all the shit talking with the Lakers over the summer, the who's your daddy, put that in your pipe and smoke it and all that other BS. Like, you know what? No, they're like really real like Spurs esque, not dynasty, but Jokic's demeanor towards like life and basketball is like, yeah, I love it. Let's do it.
Yep.
Like, let's go win.
Yeah.
Like that's the vibe I get. So I'm
Yeah.
just surprised about how their championship like hangover, or the next year, the come up year.
And I think like we talk about teams contending in the West, like I talk about the Lakers, like that was like kind of like my dark horse team and stuff like that making out of the West. We talk about teams like Golden State, Phoenix, all that stuff. We never really have to talk about Denver because
No,
they're a shoo-in. You know how good they are. There's no question marks around them. It's basically a conversation of who's going to be competing with Denver in the Western
just like
Conference,
just like the Spurs, like
just like the
year after year.
Spurs. And like there's going to be years where they don't win it all. They're going to get upset in this round, that round, whatever. But you know what you're getting from them every year, and that's just dominant. It's just they're a really, really, really good team. They have a good foundation, and honestly, like, they're a team that they can lose a guy like Bruce Brown and see all set because it's kind of like a next man
Yeah,
up thing. It's kind of when it's like you have good role players and stuff that can fill in and step up as stars, whatever. But in this case, like the Denver Nuggets lost guys, but replaced them with guys that still work. The Heat didn't do that, so
yeah.
that's the biggest difference.
Like I can't help but just label it like I just see Spurs, Spurs, Spurs. Like Jokic playing the role of a Tim Duncan, like
Mm-hmm.
real like soft spoken guy. Probably doesn't talk a lot. Shows emotion minimally.
Shows
Like
emotion every once in a while.
very seldomly. And then Jamal Murray is probably like this bigger Tony Parker, right? 6'5",
Mm.
like super efficient around the rim and in the mid range area. Like I don't really know who's playing the Manu Ginobili role for this team
Yeah,
because it's Dance Fury and MPJ.
I was just trying to think that, but
It's really just more so the demeanor of how the team
yeah,
feels and how they play.
100%,
It's just beautiful basketball. The Spurs
hundred
basketball
percent
was super boring to watch for everybody else, but it was always so sexy to real hoops fans. So
for
I just
sure.
really like what I'm seeing for the Nuggets. That's why I'm like, oh, I'm surprised that there's no championship hangover. I'm surprised they're turning into this baby Spurs with a twist of an organization right now. So
I think part of that too is when your star player, arguably the best player in the NBA, just like it's just another thing for him. It's just like it's just his job. So he
a
doesn't
nine to
like
five.
exactly. So it's like, oh, we won the championship. All right, yeah, I'll show up to work. Like, yeah, let's win another one, and then I'll go back to racing horses again or whatever the hell he does. I think it's just his mentality, which is it's great. He has a winning mentality, but he also just cares. And obviously, that seems to be the best combo for him and that team. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all. Honestly, it really doesn't surprise me. I mean, it does, but doesn't that they started off 4-0? Because, again, it's like they're a
That's
sure
what I'm
thing.
saying.
As long as Jokic is there, bro, it's like they're always going to be good.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's like not super. I chose it as the most surprising because it's not really
Right.
super surprising, but it's like wow, you guys came in just unfazed.
Yeah,
Took
no, it's like eye-opening. Like, oh, wow, okay. Like, you really are, like, you really are trying to repeat this year. Like, you're not, like, it's not like a one-and-done thing for you guys.
Nobody should sleep on Denver anymore. I hope they're
No.
not after what we witnessed last year. So
No, absolutely not. All right. Well, I think that's all we have for topics. Jerry, I think it's time for some games.
yeah, before we actually dive into this thing, at
Mm-hmm.
probably what the title of this episode is going to be is let's have a James Harden draft, baby.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Let's fucking do it.
Yeah, you know I came up with it, so you got the first pick here. I'll be a
Oh,
nice guy for you.
oh, wow. Look at you. Okay. All right, yeah. So as we've talked about James Harden before, with all the teams he's been on, that means he has played with some big name teammates over the years. Now, one question I have for you before we get into this draft about his teammates, are these like players that like in their prime? So like if I pick a Kawhi Leonard, is this like
Yeah,
prime Kawhi Leonard? Like this just like not like where they are right now, obviously. Just
yeah.
like
Like some of these guys are out the league, so we're gonna say a prime version of
okay,
like
okay, just
what
making
they are.
sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just making sure. All right. Well, if that's the case, I mean, if that's the case, I think with my first overall pick, I have to go with Mr. Kevin Durant, probably the most talented teammate of James Harden, the most successful, or at least one of them. So Kevin Durant.
Yeah, I mean, you can say most successful or most talented.
It,
Most talented, I'm gonna
the
give you for sure. I'm gonna give you
okay.
for sure. But most successful is a guy with a very comparable resume for me being my number one pick. Give me Kawhi Leonard.
There you go. I felt like those are going to be the top two anyways, but
Easy.
I have to get the best offensive score of all time team. All right, because I know James Harden's going to be putting up some tour dates, so I need Kevin Durant to kind of come in and bring the efficiency. Okay, with my second overall pick. Okay, so I didn't really think of this before. Are we drafting like should we draft a team so it's like we each draft 4 players and James Harden is on this team already, kind of, you know what I mean? Or we draft 5 players
I was
as
thinking more
like
so drafting 5 guys.
okay, no, that's fine, that's fine. I just had that weird thought in my okay.
All good.
So because I'm thinking like, do I want to build a team like James Harden's on this team, or I want to build a team separately? Okay. So with my second pick, I mean, I think I'm going to take. You know what? I'm gonna take Joel Embiid.
Okay,
I may have gotten him a little early. I think I could have held out a little bit, but I'm thinking that small forward center duo, 2 of the best scorers. I think we can get something going there.
that's a pick. I honestly didn't think you were gonna that early. I was gonna take him.
Hmm.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like I definitely was.
Okay. Okay.
So that's a solid pick. But I now I just have to go with some countermeasures here.
Hmm.
Give me the 4-time or 3-time DPOY winner, Dwight Howard. Like I
All
think that's
right.
a guy that could definitely lock him up and give him a problem.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
Orlando Dwight was a beast.
He
So give me Dwight
was. He's a hey, listen, I don't care what anyone says. He's a 75 player. So let's just get that out of there.
Besides these recent allegations, man, that guy is great.
Listen, we talk about what he does on the court and talking about what they do on the court, and we're talking about nothing else off the court. We're just focused on hoops right now and putting together the
Yeah,
best basketball team of all time.
we
I
know,
think
we know.
what my next pick, I am taking Mr. Kyrie Irving. All right, one of the best basketball players this game is wise. So let's get him on the team.
Yeah, no, I think that was kind of like a no-brainer of a pick. But remember,
Hmm.
we are playing primes here. We're playing
We are.
primes. So
Yes.
by saying that,
Hmm.
you said KD is the best scorer of all time.
Uh,
One of them, in
uh-huh.
Carmelo Anthony.
That's a good one. That's a
Um,
really good one. I was wondering when he was going to eventually
oh yeah,
make an appearance here. I think that's fair. See, like I'm looking at the list It's like we have these great players, but I don't know how well, because I can have Kyrie play the kind of the 2 guard position here, or I can keep him at point guard. Obviously, is one of the best handles of all time, so I kind of want him to be my ball handler. So I think I'm gonna. It's kind of crazy how like some of his most his teammates that are like bigger name teammates or whatever are being left on the board here, because I'm taking Paul George with my 4th pick. Yeah, I'm taking Paul George. I'm going to add a 2-way player, add a 2 guard here. Well, at least for now. Maybe Katie gets slid over to the 4 and we kind of work around this. But Paul George, I'm going to throw on here, get some defense going there. And yeah, one of the craftiest players of this current era.
That is interesting. That is
Yeah.
no,
Yep.
I think I like that one. I think I like that one. That's fine. That's an interesting. All right, yeah, that changes some things. Not gonna lie, like you kind of stealing picks from me because again, I was just gonna go. I was gonna go big here, man. Have PG at that was definitely gonna be the
Mm-hmm.
plan here. So now we
Okay.
gotta. I gotta take a step back real quick.
I'm
Let me
trying to
think.
I want to think of some other guys now.
Let's see, because we don't have like a whole lot to choose from, stars wise.
Hmm.
And I know that you're not gonna take another point guard. So like I'm kind of
No,
stuck here.
yeah, I can give you that one. There's one
So
guy on that I'm definitely not taking.
I know it's Chris Paul. You don't have to. The
Fair enough.
disrespect. The
Fair enough. The
disrespect.
disrespect.
Damn. Hold on. Give me like two
No,
seconds.
this is tough. This is tough.
I gotta piece something together here.
I think I have a good pick though. I
Damn.
think I have a good pick.
You know what? For the sake of time, let me just go ahead and run with Russell Westbrook here. I'm
Okay.
gonna take Russ just to get point guard now.
Just going through I'm just going through a list right now and stuff like that. I'm just kind of weighing out all the options. I'm seeing big names like Kendrick Perkins. I'm seeing Austin Rivers, Nate Robinson. Shout out to great Celtics legend. But I think is gonna fit this team better. That's my question. I think with my last pick, I think we're gonna have some fun. I think because Prime, this player, was a great all-around big man. He was doing a little bit of everything, and
I hope we're not talking about the same dude. I'm literally looking at this name.
expanded his game when he
You
moved to this team. And I think I'm going to go with Mr. Blake Griffin.
all right.
Is that who you were thinking of?
No, not exactly, but that is
Okay.
a good one. That is a
So
good one.
they did play in Brooklyn together. Very short stint, but they did play together. But I'm going to go Blake Griffin. I'm going to have him play the 4 position. I think catch some lobs. He started to shoot some threes, became a passer for his position.
Hey,
I'll put him there.
that Pistons Blake Griffin was everything.
Was different. He was good. He was really good.
All-star caliber season that he had over there in Detroit. So
For
shout out to
sure.
BG, man. I'm glad BG got some love out here.
Shout out Blake Griffin. There was one other guy I was thinking of too. I'm not going to mention who it is yet, just to see who you pick last. But
I mean, I got one guy on my mind right now that also plays is primarily known as a power forward, but I'm trying to just make sure that is like this is what I want. But you know what? He is. I'm just gonna. There's two guys. There's two guys really at that position that I could put there because,
okay,
damn, one of them was just in his prime OKC days. Obviously, one of the best defensive guys in the league. Led the league in blocks.
yeah,
Probably is a guard.
This guy did cross mind. Yep,
But
but
I think I kind of need some offense, man. Like I can't. Dwight's not exactly your traditional low post scorer. Like
of
despite averaging
course,
20 to 22 a game, that's not a guy I'm gonna give him the ball in the post and be like, go to work, go get a bucket. Melo and Kawhi
right.
could do that, but if I want a traditional guy that could do it, I'm gonna have to X out Serge, even though I do want
So,
Serge.
yep.
I'm gonna give it to Lamar. And they also
That
played
was the other guy. I was Marcus and Blake Griffin. Those were the 2 guys I was considering. Yep.
played very, very well in Portland. Probably if it
Yep.
wasn't for Dame, would be the best player in franchise history potentially.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm gonna go with LaMarcus over Serge. I don't mean the defense, but the all around game. I get from LaMarcus who could space the floor out, hit threes as well.
Yep.
Obviously, can go to work down low. So I like LaMarcus Aldridge.
Damn. I like that. That's who I was between LaMarcus Aldridge and Blake Griffin. I went with Blake's all-around game more than LaMarcus's low-post offensive game. Well, that is unfortunate for guys like Russell Westbrook and Chris Paul getting left off.
Oh
Two
no,
of
no.
his.
Russ made my team. I got
Oh,
Russ.
you're right. You're right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You got Russ. You got Russ. Chris Paul though. One of his didn't make it. Couldn't
I'm
make it.
sorry. I got
Hey,
love for CP.
he was. Yeah, you know what I mean. He was part of that team, even though he wasn't healthy. He was a part of the team that missed 27 straight threes. We can't have that. We can't have that on this team. So over the final rosters, from 1 to 5, I have Kyrie Irving, Paul George, Kevin Durant, Blake Griffin, Joel Embiid.
And I have Russ, Kawhi, Melo, LaMarcus Aldridge, and Dwight. So you guys let us know in the comments below how we did and who won this draft. Just know that Dante has pieces of the Brooklyn Nets squad that didn't work.
You're right.
Let's just put that out there.
I drafted the 2 guys that James Harden tried to get away from in Brooklyn. So it happens. All right. So now it's officially time for games, Jerry. I got 2 of them for you, and I think you said you have 3.
Yeah, I got a 3-piece McNugget for you.
So let's do it.
All right. You know, I like kind of do this, man. You want to go from easy to hard, or you want to go to hard to easy? Like, you let me know.
Let's go from easy to hard.
Okay, easy to hard. All right, easy to hard. That should be fine. I need you to rank the top 5 NBA scorers through these first 3 to 4 games.
Okay.
So I'm gonna give you some names. Obviously, you're gonna put them in random orders.
Okay.
All right. Number 1 that I'm gonna give you here, De'Aaron Fox.
All right. De'Aaron Fox. I love me some De'Aaron Fox. Just had an ankle sprain though. Did have a piece against the Lakers though. How many players you giving me? 5?
Yep. 5 blind ranks here.
Okay. I'm going to put De'Aaron Fox. I feel like I said this last week with Towns. I feel like he's one of those players where like there's going to be guys ahead of him, there's going to be guys below him as well. So I think with that being said, I'm going to put De'Aaron Fox at number 3.
Number 3. All right. You know, something safe, I got
Something
you.
safe. Not the best, not the worst.
Next up here, how about Donovan Mitchell?
Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell gets me because I think he's very talented, but I also think he's very in the sense that he can't get much done in the postseason. Except he had that bubble run where he went nuclear and stuff, but I do think he is more talented than De'Aaron Fox. I think I'm gonna. That's tough. That's a tough one. I think I'm gonna put Donovan Mitchell at 2.
Spider at 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll put Spider at 2. Yeah, I think I can below Fox.
All right, now let's throw in the wild card name here. How about Cam Thomas?
Cam Thomas. What is he? He's averaging at least 30 a game this year. He has 30 in each game. I think the only guy averaging more points is Steph. Not Steph. Luka.
I'll reveal the numbers and where they're at in the league today after this is over.
Hold on. I think. Can you explain the blind rate constructions again? I think I confused something. I'm confusing myself.
Oh, I mean, yeah, for sure. Like, no, it's really just based off of your preference. It's not like I'm trying to get you to guess like who's leading the top 5 leading scorers.
Oh, okay. I was just making sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely to your discretion, like whatever you think.
Okay. Cam Thomas, because he's really good. I don't know how sustainable it's going to be, though. I think I'm going to have to put Cam Thomas at... I don't want to put him at... I think I might have to put him at 5, honestly. I'm going to put Cam Thomas at 5.
Cam Thomas at 5. All right. Now things get a little more fun here with these next 2 names. How about a Steph Curry?
I think I got to put Steph Curry at 1, right?
Sure.
yeah, I'm going to put Steph Curry at 1. Yeah, I'm not really going to even think about that. So who am I putting at number 4?
At number 4, you have the Luka Doncic.
Luka Doncic. Okay. Well, that's an interesting rank. So I have Steph, Donovan, Fox, Luka, and Cam Thomas.
Yeah. I think the one thing I could agree with you here is definitely 1 and 5. 1 and 5, I think we're good.
Yeah.
How I'd probably put them.
Definitely, sure. Yeah,
But
because Luca
if
could
you
be
want
up
to,
there more.
if you want to know the who's leading the league in scoring,
Yes, please.
Luka Doncic is number one at 39 points per game.
Hmm.
Donovan Mitchell at 2 with 35.
Oh wow. Oh,
Steph at
he's averaging 35.
right now. That's what I'm looking at the ESPN top
Wow,
scoring list right
I
now.
did not know that.
Steph is at 3 with 33 and a half. Cam
Hmm.
Thomas at 4 with 33, but he had highest points per game average ever by an NBA starter because of his run last season as well.
That's right. Hmm.
And De'Aaron Fox is 5th with 31.3. So still,
Damn,
yeah,
they're all
530
putting
plus
up
one games.
numbers.
I
Holy
like it though.
shit.
I think the way you did the list was still pretty smooth to me. I
Yeah,
like it.
yeah, yeah. My best. I tried my best. All right, I have a game for you. I have the two games I have for you are going to be very you're gonna have to think. You're gonna have to think for these ones, okay?
Let's do it.
So the first one I have for you, I need you to name me the top 5 winningest players in NBA history. So the top 5 list of the players with the most wins of all time.
Oh, most wins, like not winning
Yes.
percentage, most
Yeah,
wins.
no. The wins
Okay.
in NBA history. So top 5 players here.
Automatically, I just want to say to you, LeBron and Kareem.
Kareem is number 1. LeBron James is not on this list. I actually think he's number 6. Number
Oh,
6 all
okay.
time. Yeah, he's close,
Okay.
but he's
All
not
right.
quite there yet.
Most wins, you got to go to the Spurs tree, right? Give me Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan is number 3. So you have 1 and 3.
Talk to me about Karl Malone.
He is number 5.
Okay, so I got the fifth guy. 1, 3, and 5. Well, I'm just hitting all the odd numbers right now. Okay.
You're getting there though. You're closing in on 2 and 4.
2 and 4. I think I need to give you again another. Do I want to give you another member of the Spurs though? Because I feel like the bigger names, like a Mike Jordan and stuff, obviously struggled in the '80s until he landed Scotty. So I just
Yep.
don't feel like that makes a lot of sense for MJ.
I can tell you right now, Michael Jordan, he's 250 games below number 5.
Goodness, yeah. I mean, he did take
Yeah.
off 2
So
years and then came out of retirement.
Malone has 952 wins, and Michael Jordan has 706.
Shit. Okay.
Yeah. So greatness in that sense may not be, what you think of here.
Too much time off, and he didn't come out the gates winning 50
Yeah.
plus games every season.
Right.
This is difficult. Okay. I got to think. Because even a guy like Vince Carter didn't have the most winning situations. He has the longevity, but not the most winning of situations.
That's a good way. That's a good thing to look at there. Longevity.
You know what? F it. Give me Tony Parker.
He's not on there. He's actually number 8.
Number 8.
Number
Okay.
8, yeah. Almost at 900. 892 wins.
So with those, all right, I don't need to shake any other Spurs tree then. I think I'm kind of good there. I think I'm fine. If I nailed Karl Malone, then give me John Stockton. Give me another Jazz.
He is number 4. So now you're
Okay.
just missing number 2.
Number 2.
Stockton's at 953 games and Karl Malone's at 952. So Stockton has one more career win than his teammate, his long running teammate.
That's something to brag about in Utah, huh?
Yeah. I'm sure kick back and joke about it all the time. Hey, man, I got one more win than you.
Yep. It's a great accomplishment, man. 1 win. 0 titles to show. Okay.
0 titles. Yep. All right. Back to number 2.
Number 2
is also, I'll tell you, he is 60 games behind Kareem at number 1, and he has 13 games ahead of Tim Duncan at number 3.
Ooh, that's a weird place to be.
So right in the middle. Over 1,000.
Magic didn't play long enough. Bird didn't play long enough. Well, I don't even know if they played 82 games at that point in time. You know what? Let's just throw something at the wall. How about Russell? I mean, a whole lot of wins, man. No? Okay.
No Bill Russell.
Damn. I feel like it kind of has to be. Oh, wait, longevity again. We're going back to longevity. I have 2 names in my head, but they're like old school because I don't feel like it's anybody that's like either. They're definitely like not currently playing. I know that.
No,
It's
not
definitely
currently
somebody.
playing.
I'm trying to put it in my head. Is it somebody within the 2000s, or do I need to go back to the 80s? And I'm like in between the 80s and the 2000s is where I'm at. And I just can't get it right now. I got two names in my head, but I just don't know if they're it.
You're right. You thinking about longevity. I think that's the key to your answer here.
Well, if that's the case, the first thing that comes to mind is Robert Parrish. I'm gonna tell you Robert Parrish.
That is correct. He is number 2. Robert Parrish is number 2. 1,014 career wins. Look at you.
That was tough, man.
Yes,
That was a hard
that's
one.
a tough one. That's a tough one. Yeah, I mean, you have a group. You have your two teammates in Malone in Stockton at 4 and 5. Tim Duncan, one of the winningest players of all time with the Spurs. Kareem at number 1, and then Robert Parrish, not the sexiest name in the world, but someone that was a part of a lot of winning teams. So
Yep.
shout out Robert Parrish.
Longevity had to play a part somewhere. That's dope. That's amazing.
There it is. All right.
Okay, now let's go to the middle game, the normal. Not easy,
Yep.
but not too hard. If you've been paying attention, maybe this will be pretty easy for you, but
Okay.
I'm not even going to do the top 5 here, even though I have them written down. We're going to do the top 3. So, can you give me the top 3 rookies that are leading the league in scoring right now? Or leading rookie, I phrase that, I weird. The top 3, give me the top 3 rookies who have the most points per game amongst their class right now, amongst their peers.
Right. Okay. Well, the first one that comes to my mind immediately is Chet Holmgren.
Is number 3.
Number 3. I know Scoot hasn't been doing that well. Victor has had a really good game. He also had an okay game. Had a solid start. What other?
I can tell you that Chet is currently averaging right on 15 points.
Okay, so if that's the case, I feel like Victor's got to be there too.
Yep, Victor is number 2 at 15.
He's number 2. Okay, who's number 1? Who the hell is number 1? I'm trying to think of all the top, because then you have one of the Thompson twins, with the one in Houston, not the one in Detroit. I know the one in Detroit's lighting it up with all these block parties. He's been playing unbelievably on defense.
There's no one leading the rookies in rebounding, oddly enough. It's weird.
Is he?
Yeah.
Damn, good for him. Yeah, he's talented as hell. There's no one else from last year that didn't play that is now. Okay, not Scoot. Now it's tricky because I'm trying to think of all those like middle picks. Cam Whitmore, no, not him. The leading rookie scorer. Wow, this is crazy. I can't even think of the top one right now. Is it the Thompson twin in Houston? I can't think. I know it's Amen or Mir. I forget.
Amen Thompson only averages 7 points per game.
Okay, so it's not him. What the hell?
There's only 3 rookies right now that technically average double digits right now.
Why can't I think of? Yeah, I can't even think of the top. What's his name? Number 1.
He averages 17.3 points per game, and in each and every game, he actually set a new career high each time.
Really?
Yes. So his 3 games out, he's had something top what he did the last game. So
why have I feel like I haven't heard?
It's definitely a matter of just obviously a lot of these rookies go to small organizations. So we kind of just gloss over some of them or forget them.
Fuck. Yeah. You're right. You do forget about it because I obviously have. Oh, how about is he averaging 17? What's his name? Derek Lively on the Mavs?
See, Derek Lively, if he would have did a top 5 list, would have been correct.
He would have been on top 5.
He has 9 points per game.
Oh, he's not even at. Yeah, he's 8 points less.
I like the guess though. Top 5 for sure, but not top 3.
I know there's a guy on the Kings. They have that's a shooter. I don't know what his. I don't know if he's been.
Let me just go ahead and cross that out for you because Sasha Vezenkov is 9.7. He's 4. So you would have got the top 5.
Oh my God. Everything except for number 1.
I feel so hurt about this right now. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
I feel offended. The Lakers?
I feel offended, Dante.
Why can't I think of this right now?
Because you don't care about him.
Obviously, I don't.
That's so beat up. So messed up. We talked about him over the summer a little bit. We didn't really know where his minutes were going to land, but we knew he'd play a lot of minutes off the bench for this team.
Oh, it's the former second overall pick, Mr. Brandon Miller.
Ding, 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 baby. Number
Yeah,
one.
he has been playing
17.3
very
points per
well.
game.
Yeah, I was trying to think of like starters and stuff like that. 17 points a game, you're thinking that's coming from a starter. Brandon Miller has had a very good start to the
Has
season.
been balling. He's been
Yes, he
balling.
has.
Like, I've
Yes, he
gotten to
has.
watch it his first 3 games of his NBA career in
Yes, he
person.
has.
And he stepped in.
Yeah.
Every time he steps in, he's a spark plug. The team
Yeah.
needs him to
Yeah.
produce.
Oh, fuck. I can't believe it took me that long. I couldn't think. I was like, I actually don't know how I skipped it. I was thinking, because you know why? Because when I thought Chet, he was a second overall pick. So in my head, I was like Victor, Chet,
Oh,
Scoot. So I
that makes
skipped right over the second overall pick this year. That's what happened. I don't know why. I didn't even like think of going over the top picks because I thought I already had it.
like I
Damn.
said, I felt offended because you just skipped. You went to Scoot and you went straight over Brad. I was
Yeah,
like, whoa.
well, that's why I'm saying like
Yeah,
Chet
I
made me think second overall, and I was like, wait, you're hurt. I was like, this has got to be personal. It's either be the Lakers, and I was like, wait, it's not the Lakers. It's got to be the Hornets.
It was
It's all
personal.
right.
I felt that.
We got there. It's okay. All right. So I want you. This next game I have for you is going to require a little bit of thinking as well. Okay.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Who has won the MVP and the Finals MVP in the same season? So I have 10 players in NBA history that have done this.
Damn, there's 10 of them?
There's more than I thought.
Fuck.
And they're all like big name players for the most part. I mean, some more than others, but I'm going to see if you can name me all 10 of them.
Okay. First one automatically off rip, MJ.
Yep. He was the sixth guy to ever do it.
The sixth? Fuck.
Yeah.
How about a Kareem?
He is the second guy to ever do it.
The second? Fuck. First. How about Bill Russell?
No, not
Damn,
Bill
okay.
Russell. No.
Too trigger. Way too
I
trigger.
understand why you'd think of that, though.
Way too trigger happy there. So I got MJ and Kareem, of course. I don't. Did LeBron won an MVP and
He was the last one to do it.
Okay, I kind of figured that. Because Giannis won MVP and a DPOY, not a Finals MVP in the same season. Okay.
Correct.
Okay, all right. So LeBron being the last guy makes things a little difficult. Shaq won his MVP in 2000, so Shaq would be one of them.
Shaq is the third to last guy to do it.
Right, so there's somebody in between.
Yeah, so two people did it afterwards. I know this is like
what? Oh, whoa.
This is
Tim Duncan.
He is the second to last guy. So you got the last three guys to do it.
Okay. Now let's just kind of go back in the time machine a little bit here. We're rolling. MJ misses out a couple years. Give me Hakeem Olajuwon.
Hakeem Olajuwon, fourth to last guy. So you have the last five guys that did it. All right. Okay. So you MJ, Hakeem, Shaq, Tim, LeBron. You got Kareem at number 2. So you're missing the first guy to ever do it, and then third, fourth, and fifth.
That's okay. We just got working. We got to have back in Nine Palace. You know, like it looks like Mario's Nintendo 64 castle in here. Trust me, it's spacious. So let's keep going. Obviously, the Bulls dominated the 90s. I don't think Isaiah Thomas has an MVP. I don't think. So I'm not even gonna put him out there. I'm gonna go to Larry Bird.
Larry Bird is on the list. He is the fourth guy to do it. So now you need 1, 3, and 5.
Me and these odd numbers.
Yeah, you and these odd numbers, man.
You mean Magic Johnson? Why not?
Magic Johnson's right after Larry. So you got 5. So now you need 1 and 3. Okay.
Yo, I really don't think I'm gonna get number 1.
So I think number 3. I think you can get. We've talked about him before.
Oh, that's because it's Moses Malone.
It is Moses Malone. That is right. So now you're just missing number 1. You're just missing number 1. Now I'm gonna give you a few. Let me see if I can pull up the date of when, like the year that he did it, because that could help you out. Obviously, so it's before Kareem, so it's before his time. This person did it in the 69-70 season.
Wilt. Wait, no. Wait. I take that back.
Okay.
Because it's actually Jerry West.
No, it's not. It's not. This is like a top 75 player, Hall of Famer, like not like a weird, this person,
What the?
big name player. Not as big, probably not like everyone else on this list is probably named than him, but this guy is a Hall of Fame player.
A Hall of Fame player that's not Jerry, and I don't Wilt because he won his rings later.
You're in the right trajectory with Wilt, though. You're in the frame there. He got the right position.
So it is a center, but now like I'm thinking of like ancient names. Like, are they even alive today? With all due respect,
Let's see.
my goodness,
He passed. He at 80 years old.
I don't
He
understand.
only played one team his whole career. One team.
When he played for the Lakers, the whole career, huh?
Listen, this guy helped this team win one of their only championships in franchise history, and it's been a long time since they've won a championship. This
Oh,
could have.
oh, oh, whoa, 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 whoa! It's Willis Reed.
Willis Reed is the correct answer. Willis Reed won the MVP and Finals MVP for the New York Knicks in the 1969 to 1970 NBA season.
Man, R.I.P. to Willis Reed, man. I'm sorry I forgot about you, baby. Man,
Hey, that's a long time ago. So
talk about going in a Wayback Machine. Dante got me down. Got the wheels spinning. You got the wheels turning. You're testing the NBA noggin, man. Goodness.
hey, I had to do it. So you had to think a little bit, but I got you. All right. So I think that's the last game that we have today, Jerry. We had a good one. We had some ranks. We had some ones that you had to put your thinking cap on.
For sure.
But thank you guys so much for watching today's episode. Me and Jerry are thrilled that the NBA season is back in full swing because now we can talk about what is actively going on in the NBA world, all these games, stories, all that good stuff. Please make sure to, as always, like and subscribe. Check out all the other episodes on YouTube. If you are listening to us on any podcast platforms, please make sure to give us a rating. We appreciate that a lot. Check us out on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, you want to listen to us when you're on your car ride to work, back from work, while you're working, check us out wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Look up Sitting Courtside. You will find us there. Jerry, do you have any final words for these wonderful fans before we head off?
Nope. All I gotta say is, man, I'm just happy the NBA season's back, man. Let's just keep watching the sports equinox, still happening. Baseball, hockey, all that good stuff, football. Just keep watching, man. Great. It's great to have
So I
sports back.
I think last night, or I think it was last night, was one of the first night. It was basketball, baseball, hockey, and football same night. So yeah, we are ready for it. We are ready for this NBA season. It's about damn time James Harden got traded. Things are going in the right direction. And until next time, until episode 14, take it easy.
Peace.
Peace out.